What's up? What's up? What's up with you guys? I am back at it again. You already know, Rattlers. We in this thing. This is the pre-snap read with your boy, Mr. Bridges, on top. And we back with another one, man. We back with another one. Glad to be back. You know, it's tournament season. It's March Madness in the air. So a lot of basketball is going to get watched this month. We already know. We just waiting on them boy Rattlers, to put on something during the tournament season. You already know. But talking about the Rattlers, I got a special guest. This is probably like one of the most biggest guests on the show, the pre-snap read. This is literally like one of the biggest guests. See that person that put pen to paper and sign off on stuff. And she signed off on some checks too. See that lady. She boss lady. She creme de la creme. But before I bring her on the stage, I just want to tell you a little about herself. Miss Angela Suggs is the new vice president of the athletic department of FAMU. But we already knew that. Suggs also served as the president and CEO of Florida Sports Foundation. Since she has served under that helm, she has, brought in 74 billion sports tourist dollars in that industry. Now imagine you bringing in that much money for a sports industry. That's big. Like I don't know too many people that brought in that much money, but that's big. She also worked with the Super Bowl, college football playoffs, and Formula One in Miami for the Grand Prix. Now that's amazing work for as far as like a sports person. I'm a sports person, so just naming those couple of things off, rings bells. It lets you know that that person been there and done that and actually put in the work to get those places. But I don't want to keep going accolade after accolade after accolade. She born and raised in FAMU. She was born in FAMU. She was born in FAMU Hospital. She FAMU through and through. Her family FAMU. I'm talking about my AD, our AD, Miss Angela Suggs.
Hello, Ron. Hello, Rattler Nation.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. It's a
Yes,
great
ma'am.
day
Yes,
here
man.
on the
How it
hill.
is on the hill, because I haven't been on the hill in a minute. It's Friday, set Friday happened probably a little bit earlier. So how it is on the hill over there?
Set Friday, it pops off a little later than when my friends and I were on the hill. So they may just be getting cracking a little bit. But it definitely is set Friday. It's Friday. But then, too, today, I don't know, because this is a Friday before spring break. So some of the students may be getting out of here. But we're repping FAMU softball today. Beat Bama State. Alabama State is here on campus for us to start SWAC play. And baseball is going this afternoon as well. Got a little bit of weather coming into Tallahassee this weekend. So we're going to do double headers today for both softball and baseball. And then we'll finish up the 3-game series in the morning. Of course, our men and women's basketball teams are down in Daytona, just south of the Buc-ee's, and, getting ready for the Bethune-Cookman game tomorrow night. And so we are excited about that. All roads head to Atlanta for next week for SWAC basketball tournament, where we will make history there. But so glad to be on the show today, the pre-snap read. I'm a fan. And so just great things that you have going for sure.
Thank you. I wish the future's endeavor, a long journey at FAMU. So definitely. But let's get into some topics. Let's get into some questions, because a lot of questions got to be asked for us young folk. This is the young folk show. This young folk show, AD. So we got some young folk questions. You know what I'm saying?
Right, got it.
Yes, ma'am. So yes, ma'am. My first question is, what is your vision at FAMU athletics department? Like, what do you see forthcoming in the future for FAMU as far as what can you grow and what can you produce as far as student athletes, as far as education, as far as money wise?
Sure. And so, again, the student athletes that choose Florida A&M, our coaches, our head coaches that then assemble a staff that go into these homes to build the Rattler Athletics Department. We want to just expand those opportunities. We want to look at the experiences that we provide to both our student athletes and, again, our staff, as well as our stakeholders and our fans. And so looking at that, we want to broaden awareness. And all of that, of course, goes to raising resources to sustain championship opportunities that we have here at FAMU. FAMU is a strong brand. We have a great fan base that is committed, that travels, that goes into the different cities and communities that we go into. We are literally everywhere. And so we're in a relatively new league, new for us, right? We're making history next week with our men and women's teams going to Atlanta for the SWAC basketball tournament. We've not done that since we've been in the SWAC. And so the women have been, but for our men to go in these years, we are just super excited about being there. The vision is for us to continue charting this course, moving FAMU into what is a new landscape of intercollegiate athletics at the Division I level. So I'm coming in. It's not that I'm coming in to change a lot of things. I'm coming in at a time where we have to change. Post 2020, and now going with the NCAA settlement and what things will look like across our landscape, some of the core tenets of what we're here to do, that is changing. And so FAMU, in order for us to stay in the pack, for us to go into leadership in the pack, we've got to change as well. And we're going to do that together. I can't do it in a silo. I've said in other interviews and in other places, this is not the athletics department. This is FAMU's athletics department. If you can imagine us not having athletics, or even us not having football, because there are some schools who have recently added football, if we were to be in that position, we wouldn't go to the NCAA and say a department on campus wants to start football. We would say that FAMU wants to bring football to the campus. And so that's going to require the support of everyone, the students, the fans, the administration, any and everyone that is tied to our growth would be tied to our continued growth as a department as well.
Okay. So talking about the department and us growing as a whole and trying to figure out where can we go next. One of my questions was to you is like, how can we get an NIL fund started for the athletes? I know as far as football, a couple of athletes, when Coach Willie Simmons was there, they were doing big things. That people were looking at them, and they saw the money and they said, I think I'm gonna further my career at another school. So, but for us, as far as family, so we can keep these athletes and have that pipeline going to the NFL or even basketball or baseball or any other sport, how can we start an NIL fund or have something small that can grow into big so we can keep our athletes home?
Sure. And so there are some initiatives that are out there right now in terms of support through NIL and what that looks like. But even that is changing. Moving forward, you're going to see, and you're seeing it now at some of the other institutions with the change in leadership that we've had here. We are just really taking a look at what's going to be our best position in this moving forward. So we aren't as far along as some of our other institutions that have not had leadership transition the way that we have, but we are definitely, it's a priority for us. And so what it's going to look like moving forward with this NCAA settlement is the institutions will be able to invest directly into our student athletes. And so we will be developing a fund or a resource opportunity here directly on campus to then go out. And that's something that is developing. That's something that we're looking at as it relates to how will we get this done together for our student athletes. And while, yes, we all know about football and basketball, we all know about how that shows itself. Our other Olympic sports, other than basketball, there are opportunities there as well for our male student athletes as well as our female student athletes. And so we're going to resource that in the right size kind of way. We're going to bring in some experts. We're going to take a look at some programs that have done it right and who have succeeded, but also some programs who are farther along in the pivot as it relates to what needs to happen with this change coming directly from the institutions, because that's something that none of us have ever done before. So how are we going to do that in this new space that's coming up in front of us?
And to piggyback off of that, like, would you look at like either a smaller, like a small scale school that has an NIL package that they already have set up for the athletes? Would you go reach out to one of those schools and see how they done it, or would we just try to do it in house and figure out like, okay, we can do it this way, or we can fundraise, or we can go to different alumni groups? Like, how would we do that as far as FAMU alumni?
Sure, and that's what we're trying to figure out. Because, like I said, this is new for everyone. It's new for the bigs. It's new for the mids. It's new for low resource institutions. It's new for $100 million programs. And so we aren't going to just shoot from the hip on this. That's what we can't do. And so we've got to really dial into taking a look at what is going to be a best approach for us. And just to be quite honest, the way that we come out the gate, there are going to be some tweaks to this as we move along, because again, this is a first ever. So we don't have an example of how institutions have successfully invested directly in student athletes with this being a legal model.
Gotcha. Definitely. Well, with that being said, as far as legal purposes, we want to talk about something. We want to try to get some sponsorships. For me, I love sponsorships. That's probably like one of my main things I look at, like commercials. I look at what names can go where, what new sponsors or what things you can bring on campus, to bring more money or to bring more eyeballs. To me, like me personally, when I was at FAMU, it's like, I thought Chick-fil-A should have been one of our sponsors. Like, it was like everybody like Chick-fil-A, black people and Chick-fil-A like that, and 2 and 2. So I was like, we should have had a sponsorship with Chick-fil-A. But what are your ideas? What can you bring to FAMU as far as like more sponsorships and more eyeballs?
Sure. So one of the things that we want to take a look at is making sure from an infrastructure perspective that internally we are able to renew the sponsorship once we get it in. It's easy to bring in the sponsor. It's easier, I should say. It's easy for some of us to bring in the sponsorship and get it the first time. But what we want to be able to do is staff and successfully steward the relationship, be able to prove our performance on the back end, make sure that we have someone that has the shot list and that we have captured, again, the activations that are coming on campus through these brands, because they're going to be sponsor activations. We want to be able to then show the data, but we want to have the resources to show how many eyeballs saw the particular brand relationship as it relates to the sponsorship. We want to be able to have someone that can pull this package together. And it takes people, right, to do that. It takes an infrastructure that is poised and positioned to successfully, again, manage the relationship and renew the sponsorship. That's really where we want to go, and then even grow the sponsorship. And when you have the limited staff and you have people that have multiple responsibilities, we've got to really prioritize what we're able to resource and what we're able to successfully manage. And that is really the impetus behind some of the decisions that we're having to make right now.
Definitely, yeah. I know when I was there, like, I was like, it's so much stuff that like we could do as far as just to better our sponsorships or just to make it more appeasing to the fans. I feel like we can do a better job. I know you'll definitely do a better job as far as trying to figure out what is the best sponsorship for FAMU because there's a lot of things that we could do a better job as far as like graphics, as far as play of the game. I know a lot of teams do that. This is Piggly Wiggly play of the game. Stuff like that for basketball, baseball. The key moment of the track or a key moment at the track for FAMU. Like we could definitely do something and put our foot forward as far as working towards that.
Right.
And
So let us
definitely
use that Piggly Wiggly play of the game. You gonna give that to us? You gonna give that to us?
yeah, Piggly Wiggly play the game. Then you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
the little thing. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You can do it for basketball. You know what I'm saying? Piggly Wiggly play
Right.
the game. See, I got some ideas. I just be, bottling it up, bottling it up.
Gotcha.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, talking about ideas and talking about bottling them up, what was one of the decisions for you to bring us back to the OBC? Because I know we was in it. It was vacant for a long period of time. Then we got in it. The hype with Jackson State, Deion Sanders, and FAMU that brought the crowd out. Then we just hopped right back out of it, and now we're in it again. A lot of people are excited to be back in that game or be back in that classic and be back in that atmosphere in Miami because, like I said, if you're in the state of Florida, fam, you're gonna travel.
Sure. It's the student athlete experience, but also we have a huge alumni base in South Florida. Many of our student athletes are from South Florida, so to give them the opportunity to go back home to play in front of their family, their classmates, the families of their classmates, their teachers, their principals, their pastors, their barbers, all the people that they grew up playing in front of through the PAL leagues or Pop Warner and all of that. And so to bring them back down for band and cheer, many of them are from South Florida as well. And so again, it's a home away from home. But for the student athletes to be able to come out of an NFL tunnel, to get dressed in an NFL locker room, to have that experience is truly invaluable. It adds to the memories, right, of them being here. The way they move about the city with the police escorts and to be able to have that bowl-like experience, to go into those player lounges and be able to just start the season off being treated like real VIPs. That's really what pushed it. And again, for South Florida, because for the longest, particularly back when Orange Blossom Classic was started, if you were from Miami and you were going somewhere, you either went to FAMU, Tuskegee, Howard, and so then to come back into that matchup with FAMU and Howard, and to be able to have, and Howard has been hot for a minute. There are a lot of from a choice perspective of where these students that are coming out of high school right now, where they're choosing to go. They're choosing to go to FAM, but I truly believe that you can start a club there at Howard and some other institutions that my mama and daddy went to FAM. Because there are a lot of FAMU legacies that are there. So it's going to make for a good rivalry, homes divided, to be able to come into that space as well. So it's going to be an exciting time for sure.
Definitely. On this show, Miss Suggs, me personally, not my other co-host, I always beef with Howard. Just a football team.
Right.
Everything else good.
Yeah.
Basketball, track day, football team. Yeah, I can't get right with them. I can't get right with them. But on that note, as far as I know you worked tremendously when you worked with the Florida Sports Foundation. You did a lot of things. Just looking at your resume and see how much you brought to the city and to different cities and different venues that you work in, different entertainment things that you work. Because I say when you're at that level, you're mostly working for is entertainment, then it's sports after the fact. Because people like to be entertained and people like to be, enjoy their time when they're there. So what connections can you bring from your last job to FAMU?
So connections and experiences and the like, the last 7.5 years have truly been a dream. Definitely an honor to serve, to have been selected to serve as only the third president in the 40 plus year history of the Florida Sports Foundation. Florida was first in being able to be intentional about sports tourism from the state perspective. And for the longest time, we were the only state to have an association like the Florida Sports Foundation. And so to clear it up, it is a 70 plus, 74 plus $billion economic impact. And so that formula shows itself through direct spend, lodging, that when you come to a community here in Florida for a sporting event and what you pour back into that community, that collective value from an amateur, professional, recreational, and leisure sport perspective, everything from Super Bowls and all-star games all the way down to golf trips and anything, college events, national championships, and youth events. And so travel ball leagues through volleyball, basketball, softball, baseball, 7-on-7, and everything in between. What we pour back into the community through these events is what makes up that $70 billion impact. So it's not a budget. It's not $70 billion sitting in a pot somewhere, but it is showing itself across the community at the big box stores, at the local retailers, the restaurants, lodging, and the like. That's where that number comes from. And so just bringing that mindset back into our alma mater, our FAMU, and looking at it across the landscape of sports. Of course, we have, football and basketball, which are our revenue gates. But then in terms of taking care of those opportunities to showcase our Olympic sports, LA 28 is upon us. And so as the Olympics come, we say Olympic sports for a reason. We want our participants and our athletes that are participating in Olympic sports here at Florida A&M, we want to see them in LA. Yes, we want to prepare them that there is a story that we had this many rattlers that were participating in the LA Olympics representing from across the globe, but that wore the orange and green as excellent athletes and, experts in their field and in their chosen sport. And so we look at it in that way. We also, as we mentioned before, in terms of what's going to be needed to sustain sponsorships, coming at it and bringing back not just those relationships, but the understanding of what those brands are looking for. It's a new day. It's a new day across the landscape. What we may have been pitching before is not what we're going to pitch now. We are pitching ourselves as a collegiate product, a collegiate brand that has an excellent experience as it relates to sports and entertainment, Ron, as you mentioned. And so that's where we are and what we're bringing back and what we will put on the table in terms of adding real dollars, real value to our revenue lines, adding new revenue experiences or revenue experiences that generate new revenue for us is what we want to do. And then we want to invite not just the world to come to our events, but to come to our campus. And that's what we want to be as an athletics department, is a valuable asset to the university, where we then put us being our national rankings through research, through being the number one HBCU in the country, and putting that on the stage so that our colleges and schools can be, there's an awareness there through the millions of views that will come through our sports programs.
Definitely. Like she said, number one HBCU, I think repeatedly, yes. Not just one time, not That's just two, a couple of the, we trying to go for Jordan status, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yes. But talking about status and talking about, just, business stuff, what does FAMU and Nike look like in the future? Like right now, we got our thing with LeBron, we got the Nike deal and everything, but how can we push that forward and make it more appeasing to our athletes and also our students? Because, the students are the main ones that definitely, rocking the FAMU shoes, and, people, alumni, the alumni, boy, they something serious. And
Right.
FAMU through and through, the shoes and everything, the socks, the hat, the headband, So what does our future look like for us with Nike?
Sure. Nike is an iconic brand, and we are honored to have been selected to rock the LeBron brand as well as an institution. And so we look to grow that across all of our sports and looking at the same way that you're seeing other Nike lines on sport uniforms that are not necessarily in that sport for the brand. We want to grow the relationship that we and exposure for the LeBron brand across all of our sports. Again, it's a great relationship in terms of the apparel being readily available. There's a lot of Nike apparel that's out there, Fanatics and others, but we've got to do a good job on our end of expanding and putting that message out, putting out the information of where to go, where to get the apparel, but then also we've got to buy the apparel. Stuff costs more today than it did yesterday. And the third markdown is not where we want to be, because in these for-profit retail outlets, they are for profit. And so they're going to carry the brands that help them to meet their sales goals. And they're going to carry the brands where the stakeholders are purchasing it more so full price than waiting for it to be marked down. And so we've got to continue to motivate that activity, taking a look at what we want to see ourselves in. What are we wearing? We wear hats, we wear hoodies. Are we willing to pay $100 for a polo shirt? Well, we just got to take a look at that and put it in, and then take a look at what each age group wants to see. Where are we in kids wear? Where are we in teens? And looking at what's more hip or what's more stylish. Where are we and where do we want to go, and remaining relevant in that way.
Definitely. Yeah, I had to get with the Nike brand. I wasn't a Nike person, but hey, if you wearing Nike, I had to get with it. I was like,
right.
hey, I gotta jump on the bandwagon. So I was
Right,
like,
right,
hey,
right.
sure, but definitely love it.
Absolutely.
Definitely love the Nike brand. Definitely just love FAMU gear through and through. Like you said, there's different websites that they're out there. We just gotta look. And like you said, as FAMU people, we gotta do a better job of putting it out there, letting
Right,
everybody know. We can't keep it hostage. Oh, I'll just keep the website to myself. Nah,
right.
share the wealth. We trying to all rock FAMU gear out here.
Well, and let me just add one thing. We also have to be a little, give ourselves a little grace, right? I have not heard anybody ever say, oh, I didn't know what movie was playing. If you want to go to the movies and you haven't been to the movies in 2 years, you know where to go find out where the movie is playing. You're not waiting on the movie to come knock on your door and say movie.
You was right about that. you showed up
So
right
it's
about
the
that.
same thing. Go to famuathletics.com. It's
Hey,
got every game that we have going right there. And again, we have to take ownership in it as well. But I think as a fan base, we're often harder on ourselves, right, than we are on somebody else. If you go to wherever the city is, whatever city you're going to, and you happen to be in that city and you want to say, hey, I'm going to be in Miami. Let me see if the Heat have a game. You're not riding out on the Heat saying you don't know. You're going to go to the Heat website and you're going to find out if the Heat have a game. And you're going to say, oh, man, that kind of thing. So we got to give ourselves the same grace. Like I tell my young friends that are getting married and they're getting married for the first time, they ask, what advice would you give? Yeah, give your spouse the same kind of grace you give your best friend. When they don't call you right back, you're not riding them like, oh my God, you didn't call me back. So we got to give ourselves that friendship grace, right? That we give to each other for sure.
Definitely. Well, I'm listening. I'm taking that back. Grace. Grace. Put that in my pocket right there. Sure, but yeah, man. Let's move on to next up. Let's talk about football and the surrounding things about football. So, with the football schedule, I know kind of we had some opponents this coming up year, and we kind of took some away, kind of kept some games. I was kind of sad about one game, but hey, it's okay. But as far as scheduling goes, what will it take for us, or how can we face a non FCS HBCU? And not saying we have to face like North Dakota. Like, what will it take, or what is the problem where it's hard for us to schedule those white schools to see where we can measure up to, or see where okay, we need to work on this thing because as a history of us, we haven't won a playoff game as far as if we go to the playoffs a long time. And I know for in the past, a lot of boys would like to play non F HBCUs.
Mhm.
So what can we do to play these FCS teams? Or will we have to go there, or they have to come to us, or is it just scheduling that's really that crazy where we can't fit them in at a certain time?
Sure. We can do both. Yeah, there are several different ways that you can take a look at it, and I'll just be honest with you. Consistency from this seat is what could help us really, because as you're building schedules, you're building them with people, and you're building them years out. And if you could, because I inherited some conversations that started before me, and in speaking with some of these schools, they've spoken to now multiple me's, right? And so that's one of the things that could get in the way if the opponents keep having to talk to someone different. You want to, kind of just lock it down. You want it to be the right fit for, as we take a look at this moving forward. Now, you got to know what cards you got in your hand so that you can win the particular hand that you're playing, right? And so yeah, I like the FCS opponents. I like them a lot, right? Non HBCU, other mid majors, even some of the FBS programs that are some, because we've added FAU. I think we can beat FAU. I think we can beat whoever it is that we go out and play. But
Yeah.
there are some that are just, they got out of the gate a little faster than us a long time ago. And, in terms of being able to compete in your weight class, you want to make sure that that is right size. And again, it goes back to the experience. Can we show a 80,000 seat stadium experience in a place other than some of the places that shows themselves? Yeah, we can. We can play in 80,000 seat stadiums and get that experience while being able to compete at the same time. And for me, that's my philosophy going into it. Being able to compete, being able to be seen and have exposure, position our student athletes to have awareness brought to their athletic talents, and being able to be on the stages that will expose them for their futures.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. I love it. I love it. I love it. Springtime coming up. Spring ball coming up. So let's go. Let's go, Rattlers.
Right. Spring practice started this morning. And so the guys are out there and getting it out, getting after it. And we are looking forward to a great fall outing.
Definitely, definitely. And just staying on the topic of football. We got a couple of big games coming up. You got the homecoming, we got Jackson, and so my thought is, will there be stadium upgrades as far as seating involved? Because my philosophy, I know that costs money. I know that takes time. I know that takes planning as far as adding extra seats and doing certain things. Is there any stadium upgrades coming up in the this season, or seasons in the future?
We talk about it at least a couple of times a week. One of the first teams that I met with here on campus was construction and facilities. plan operations and maintenance, taking a look at the university's master plan. What conversations have happened before? What information do we have? Do we have any drawings? Do we have any architectural designs? Do we know how much it costs? Not just for Bragg Memorial Stadium and what we need there from a modern day experience, but Lawson is more than 10 years old. What in the future are we going to need to do there to keep that experience to where we want it to be and where we deserve for it to be, for championship experiences and programs? Our other sports, our volleyball team, looking at what we can do for our baseball and softball venues, our track. Yes, we talk about FAMU relays and the legacy of FAMU relays, but now we have 5, 6, 7 year olds that are running on specific fast turf tracks, and taking a look at that, and then what we as a university need to invest in. What does that cost, right? Looking at the whole athlete and a sports performance center, and where would that go? How does that fit into where we're putting our amazing residential facilities that are on campus, our dining facilities that are on campus, new classroom structures that have come up, and what's on the horizon for where we're moving and where we're going? Get in where we fit in, seeing is where that would be as a growing Division I program. And so those are the things that we want to be intentional about, not shooting from the hip, not Band-Aid, situations, but where is it that we go? I said in another conversation that in 2000, or even in 1999, a lot of organizations, our churches and others, they came out with 2020 vision. The 2020 vision plan was a great plan. Well, 2020 has come and gone. We thought the 20 years was going to be way out. Well, we can start right now and see what it is that we can accomplish over the next 20 years, because that is in a lot of our lifetimes that we will be able to take a look at that, cultivating and working collaboratively with other divisions across campus as we look at major gifts. We can have some miraculous conversations. We can create some magic and have some magic in conversations. But as we look at multiple opportunities for major gifts, those conversations start now and they build over time. Many of these gifts that you see come in, these conversations have been happening for 5, 7, 10, 15 years. And then they show themselves in terms of 7 and 8 figure successes. Mm-hmm. And so we can't keep talking about it, right? Yes. We've got to put plans to paper and get out there and prioritize where we need to go. And we know the big ones. We know the restrooms, and we know some of these things, and we know that can't wait on a new stadium. We've got to do something about it now, but we need some real numbers associated with that so that we can communicate that and bring solutions to the table.
Yes, man. I like that because I'm just picking up keywords, not shooting from the hip. You just can't be throwing ideas out there and don't have no plan, don't have no vision, don't have no budget for the plan. You can't be doing that. You got to sit there, talk, structure it out. I love that. This is my question one of my last questions before we get to the ticketing and the games that's coming up this season. I know for me personally and for my other YouTube friends, they want to know this question. How can YouTubers / media get more coverage from FAMU? Because sometimes it's hard just to try to get a media pass from HBCUs just in general. Yeah. Like we're trying to put, the HBCUs out there. Some of us are not even getting paid. We're just doing it because we genuinely love our school. So how can, as far as as FAMU, as far as other people that's, as Alabama State, South Carolina State, even Jackson State, how can people cover FAMU when they come on campus and their team is on campus and they're doing some coverage?
We just got to put a plan in place, make sure that the institution is protected, that you are protected, and that you also have a great experience when you come, right? So we don't want to just say yes and we don't have anywhere to put you. A lot of us are limited in space already with traditional media, right? And so then to add on a new, if you will, division of or a new genre and group of media, well intended, well versed, and quality media outlets and the like of value, and definitely helping us to promote our brand opportunities. We've got to make sure that we are prepared to give you a great experience in that way. A lot of us are traditionalists, as not us as individuals, but us as institutions. And, it's just a matter of looking at this new space and being able to succeed in the new space. And again, but for me, top of mind is an experience for you. I don't want to say yes and then get you here and we not be prepared to receive you and give you the opportunity to put out the quality information and broadcast that we want you to do. We bring you into this space. We don't have enough broadband for you. We don't have enough capacity from an infrastructure perspective. We can't get that back. So we got to be prepared to receive you, and we will. We will.
Definitely. Just another little idea I'm gonna throw out there to you, from the a pregame show and a postgame show. I don't know who, but I think that would be a good little thing to do for FAMU.
I mean, we have some examples out there, and again, just having gone in other places and been in other spaces, and bringing that back. There is Radio Row, there's Media Row. How can we bring some of those experiences that we see at championships and tournaments from professional college and amateur, looking at Olympic international championships, different things of that nature. We can bring, I mean, there is a format out there. We've just got to bring it into our footprint and be able to produce it at the level of excellence that is of FAMU for sure.
Definitely. Thank you for the answer. So hey, everybody, she's trying to get it set up now. So don't be on the neck. She's trying to get it set up. Let her get it set up. She want to make sure it's straight. She don't want, like she said, she ain't shooting from the hip, but it's 50% done. She's trying to make sure it's 100% done.
Think about it this way: y'all are media. We come, y'all have a jacked up experience. That doesn't bode well for us. Yeah. So if anybody needs to have a great experience and that we're prepared for, it's got to be you for sure.
Definitely. Thank you for saying that we are in media. I like that. I feel appreciated. I feel appreciated. So now we definitely gonna get into these tickets. As far as packages, I just want you to, I'm gonna give you the floor as far as the ticket packages and what ideas that y'all thought about this package. Did y'all look from back in the past, or did y'all try to construct something new and improve and fresh? The floor is yours.
So in this, it's where we are just in a position to dial back the data. We're looking at it from being data driven. How many people purchased the $175 package? How many $350 packages did we have? How many $1,000 North End Zone Excellence Club season passes were purchased? What is the appetite of the fan base as we look at Florida Classic, as we look at Orange Blossom Classic? How many fans that we have that were interested in suites? Did we sell out? Right, in our suite opportunities? Do we like loge boxes? Do we like any of those things? And so we think that these are fair prices in terms of looking at it. We have something for everyone in every price point because this covers 5 games. For basketball, you can add on at this year's prices plus the $50 that you see there because they will go up for next year. And we tested out the Courtside Club this year, and it was a great experience, is what the fans are saying. And so we will bring that back and be able to bring people in to cheer on our Rattler men and women in the Lawson Center. Again, as it relates to parking, We have that. And so we're not at the top, we're not at the bottom. We're kind of right there in the middle. But this year, 2025, we will have conversations across the board. We're going to have conversations even when we get into the season, as we take a look at what we will roll out. I'm going to go ahead and put myself on the hook that we are poised that we can actually release 2026 purchase information, or at least renewal information. We can release 2026 renewals by the end of 2025. And so as we're having these conversations, what we want to do is be able that if there's going to be a package for next year, we take a look at it. We went into a new league where we're not at the top as it relates to budget, which means that we're going to have to grow our budget, which means growing our resources. Because again, we have to move these programs as Division I programs. We have to receive these student athletes, these men and women that are choosing Florida A&M, choosing to wear the orange and green, and we are going to have to pay the cost to be the boss.
You got that right. You got that right.
But we can't pay that with prayers. We got to pay that with paper.
Yeah, we don't want the money that rattle. We want the money that falls.
That's right. That's right.
But
that's right, because these hotels don't want our prayers.
You got that right.
These charter companies, and I know the guys that played football when I was in school back in the day. I know y'all rode y'all rode those snakes, and y'all, Bussy took us everywhere we had to go. I get it. But as we look at time and class loads and all of that, if our teams are coming back dark 30 in the morning and we're expecting them to go, that time spent on the road versus in the air, we've got to consider that. We've got to consider that today's day, and we are preparing these student athletes for a time and space that we were not a part of. It's a new day, and we've got to be able to compete in the new day, in today, not in back in the day.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of where we are. I mean,
definitely.
Gucci bags used to cost $200.
I wish. Well,
in Moss Brothers back in the day, for anybody that's watching.
Well, I wish. What?
And that same vintage bag is 10 times the cost that the original purchaser paid for it.
Yeah. Yesterday's price, not today's price. That's right. Real. That is real. But just looking at some of these ticket packages, like just reading the comments, they look good. They look affordable. Like, I can do this. Like, even as far as like, I feel like my generation now, I feel like a lot of my friends are coming into their career. Like, just looking at it, okay, I can afford to go to 2 to 3 FAMU games, even buying just a season tickets. Like, I can afford that. I can look at that and say, I can do that. Then I can figure out what games I need to go to and how can I set up my hotel. I'm glad you took like all that into account as far as traveling, as far as budgeting, as far as what games people can pick. And I grew up in NFL and MLB ticketing. That's like my job, and that's the job I learned a lot from. So just looking at this, is reasonable price, is reasonable set. I just love it because I feel like back in the day, a lot of things were not on the par as FAMU ticketing slate, and I feel like it's going to keep going up. We keep winning, we keep producing, we keep putting NFL caliber athletes out there. The ticket prices is going to go up, and that's what happens to a lot of the big schools. You start out small, then once you get to that level, hey, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. We got to get these players fed. We got to, like you said, we need a jet. We need to fly back and forth so, they can be back in time to do their paper. Or even if they're on the bus, have Wi-Fi on the bus so they can do their homework while they're traveling. Right. So it's those things that we don't think about that, if we up the ticket prices, this is like one of the reasons why. So these athletes can actually be a student because that's what they are first.
Absolutely. And we want to fill all the seats, right? So we don't want to just continue to put the onus on the backs of the core.
Mhm.
We don't want the the leak, right, to be bigger than the pour.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to take a look at how we fill the seats, bring in new attendees, new fans, get out here and make sure that we expose the brand and the entertainment opportunities to people who have never been before. We always want first time attendees. You know how when you go to church and they say first time visitors stand up? Well,
Yep.
we're not going to be able to do that, but we always want to have some first time visitors, right, to come.
Yeah.
But we've got to get out and bring them in and have something that is there for everyone.
Definitely, definitely. If you haven't been to, Brad Memorial Stadium, FAMU has crowd engagement is like no other. That's all I can say. You have to be there to see it. That's one of the things I love about FAMU. The crowd engagement is top tier for HBCUs and for a lot of colleges. It's top. Is up there. Is up there. So let's talk about these home games. Let's talk
Okay.
about. Yeah, we got Alabama State first home game. I know as far as us and Alabama State, that's a good trip for them to come down. I know they bring their fan base, they bring their band. This is one of the home opener games. Next game we have Alabama State. That's the SWAC rivalry right there. And I know this next game I really have questions on what happened or what was the conversations for North Carolina for us playing North Carolina Central at home. Like how did those conversations go about?
So that game was on the books when I got here, but it is going to be a great game. We spent a lot of time in the MEAC, and so to go back and revisit our MEAC friends and have them to come to Tallahassee, it hadn't been that long ago that we were playing Central on a regular basis, and so to have them to come down should really be an exciting time. If you shoot back up and we have a Rattler alum coming back into what used to be his home stadium for us to invite them in for a great brag experience for us. We're going to brag on him and we're going to, let them come on down and enjoy themselves and send them on back up 319 to go back home. And with that, Bama State coming down and they're coming that ride 231 to I-10, just come on over,
Yeah.
right? And it's going to be good. That is definitely showing itself as a new rivalry for us. And then we got homecoming on that date. If I back up, that Alabama State game is going to be Hall of Fame weekend as well, and so that'll be good there. Homecoming keeps growing every year, and last year was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy good, crazy in a good way. And we look forward to continuing to grow that. And then of course Jackson State. So this is a woo this schedule for 2025. I don't know. I
I,
think that it may be easiest for you to go ahead and take this season ticket route and donate your tickets if you're not able to come to every game because these schools are coming as well and they are going to be purchasing tickets that won't be available to you. So lock it in, right? Lock in your seats and be able to come and cheer these Rattlers on. Add on those basketball packages so that we can start to pack out the Lawson Center as well. And let's get it.
yeah, definitely. With question as far as how family rolls. They have meetings every home game. As far as who's going to be where, what's going to be where. Where the police is going to set up at, where the band is coming through, what time is doing this and this. As far as having homecoming and Jackson State back to back, just knowing the day of the Saturday, that's going to be a long Saturday for a lot of people that's going to be working the games and actually on the clock. um what do you have in place now? What do you think about having in place now where it can be comfortable for everybody as far as fan engagement, even as far as people working the games, because that's two homecomings back to back. That's you gonna get your money worth this season.
Well, for the goal is for every game to be like homecoming, and that people choose. Can have, if you can't make it one weekend, the next weekend is going to be just as exciting and just as energetic. And so that's the goal for our staff. I'm concerned about our experience as well, because we also have other sports that are going at the same time. Once we get down into that Jackson State game, it'll be basketball season as well. Looking at possibly some exhibitions whenever we can do that, some open practices perhaps, at a different weekend, and whatever it is that we can do to move this forward is what we're going to do. But we got to be concerned about our staff and our internal team that helps to really turn the lights on and give, make the stage one that we can put our program on. So.
Yeah, definitely. Just being me, because I interned at FAMU, I know what it feels like just to do a homecoming game. And like, I remember when the first time we played Southern in a long time, that first year we played Southern, and we had that next other week was a homecoming game. Yeah, it get tired when you be working them long hours. So I definitely understand. I'm in those people's shoes. I'm definitely in those people's shoes. But this is probably one of them for me, as far as like I've been at FAMU. This is probably one of the best schedules that I saw for years to come, as far as like FAMU football. So I definitely say I'm excited about this year. All right, Miss Suggs, AD Suggs, do you have anything to tell the FAMU people and the other HBCU people out there as far as what FAMU has going on and what you guys got going on in the future?
To our other HBCU sister institutions, we're in this thing together. Again, as I mentioned before, the landscape is changing. We've got to support each other. So Rattlers, when we go on the road to our visiting opponents, and this year we'll be going to, from a conference perspective, we'll be going to Huntsville, we'll be going to Baton Rouge. For Southern, we're going to Arkansas Pine Bluff, we're going out the Valley. And then, of course, we're going to Miami for Orange Blossom Classic. We got 8 in the state. We play 8 games in the state of Florida. Will be, of course, Blue Florida Classic in Orlando. And the week after we go to Miami, we're going back south into Palm Beach County and Boca to take on FAU as well. And so this is a great opportunity for us to band together. Now, the Rattler Nation, thank you. Thank you for the support that you have given to our student athletes, to our coaches, both here at home and on the road. Thank you to the support that you've given to me stepping into this role. I'm your athletics director. I'm your classmate. I'm your homegirl. But I'm definitely a fellow Rattler, and I am honored to serve in this role. And I look forward to moving our athletics program together to greater heights, to legacies that will be lasting for those that are to come behind us. And we just want to say thank you. Go Rattlers, and fangs up.
Strike and strike again. That's what I'm talking about. That's how you end all the show. I want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, share to all the family people that you can. Make sure you subscribe to Scotty page, and make sure you go to Bridges on Top. That's my page. Make sure you subscribe, like, go there, and make sure you watch the pre-snap read. When football season start kicking back up, we're gonna be coming on now. Me, Robin, and Jerry, we're gonna be coming on. You know how we do it. It's a fun show, and we us there, y'all. So thank you, AD Sus, again. Thank y'all, YouTube.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Be good. Peace out, and enjoy y'all Friday. Bye.
Alrighty.